Just as the sun has risen and it has rose this morning, no matter what the situation was, no matter what the weather was, no matter what anyone had on their mind, no matter what was going on in this world, the sun has risen today. And just as the sun has risen, so should our mind and our heart. Above all things, we ought to have courage in times such as this. So we are here on day number 10 of our journey with vulnerability together. And as we embrace vulnerability, walking hand in hand with it, staying committed to it, it's just like a relationship. Some days are going to be good. Some days are going to be challenging. But what's most important is the commitment to be vulnerable. So today is a message that I hope that you guys can take with you and share with somebody that you care about, friend, family, co-worker, anyone that's in need. I want to start today off with a quick introduction, a story, if you will. I want you guys to close your eyes and imagine this place I'm going to describe. There are two old men laying in the same room. You see, one of the old men has terminal cancer. He can no longer get up, and he's bedridden. He's in pain every single day. But early in the morning, he wakes up for about 10 or 15 minutes to listen to his roommate. You see, his roommate is sitting at the window, looking outside. And for 10 and 15 minutes, the roommate explains to the man who's suffering what he sees outside. And the reason why he does this is because he knows it gives his roommate hope. You see, as he begins to explain that there's a little boy outside with his ball, learning how to dribble. And as he's dribbling, he's with his parents. And they're all smiling and the sun is up and it's a beautiful day. The old man turns to the other man who's really sick and he can see a smile on his face. And he, for just a moment, feels pleasure in his pain. The next morning, the old man wakes up, same usual time. He's in pain, but he can't wait to hear his friend tell him what he sees outside. So his friend looks outside and says he sees a couple sitting at a park bench, sitting there talking. It looks like they're just having the time of their life. The sun is up, the birds are out. And he turns and looks to the old man. He can see the smile on his face, and he's just smiling from ear to ear. He's still receiving pleasure in his pain. The next morning, the man gets up and gets ready to go to the window and gets ready to tell his friend what he sees. But he notices he's not up. And he's concerned now. So he goes over to him slowly, because he's hoping it's not what he thinks it is. And as he goes over to his bed, he notices that he's not moving at all. You see, unfortunately, this man has passed away, and he's left. So he calls the nurse into the room. The nurse comes and grabs the older man, and he says, I'm so sorry for your loss. He's gone. There's nothing we can do. So the old man, his friend, sees him being taken out of the room, and he goes to sit on his bed. And the nurse comes in one time and she says, I just have a question to ask you. She says, I noticed every morning you would sit outside, or you would sit at the window and explain to him everything that you saw. I noticed you did that every single morning for the last 2 years. But my question to you is this. There's nothing outside of that window. It's just a brick wall. So the old man looks at the nurse and smiles, and he says, I know, but sometimes it's more important to create a special moment for somebody and take the time to make their day better while they're in pain. The nurse had a tear that dropped from her eyes because she realized he was creating a moment for his friend every single morning just so he can be released from his pain. You see, ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about today is compassion. And the reason why we're talking about compassion is because it's one of the healing points to shame. It's one of the healing points to shame. You see, the word compassion means to suffer with. And oftentimes when people are experiencing shame in their lives, and even when you experience shame in your life, Imagine those moments. Those moments where you were able to have someone suffer with you, to show compassion, to show patience, to show love, to show kindness, just to give you that space to where you feel like you're not by yourself. You see, shame can do that to you. Shame can make you feel like you need to hide and isolate. And it calls upon vulnerability, and it tells vulnerability to get out the way, and the door is shut to your heart. And then you feel nothing. But there are moments where you can spend time with somebody who loves you, and that person showing you compassion. And compassion is a healer to shame. It is a healer to shame, to have someone present with you, to suffer with you. And when we talk about shame, it doesn't have to be to the extreme. It could be something as simple as maybe when you go to work, you feel like you don't look the best or feel the best, and you feel that people at work seem to be more intelligent than you, whatever the case might be. And then you have that one person that walks up to you and just listens to you and just allows you to open up to be you, and you get a chance to express it, and you regain that confidence and you remember who you are. See, it's that small moment that gives you that space of healing. But what's even more important than someone else suffering with you, showing you compassion, what's even more important is you having self-compassion. You see, most of us, a lot of us, at least those who are aware, and some people are not aware. You see, shame is something that could have been adopted as a young child in your childhood. Something could have happened where either your parent didn't spend enough time with you and you felt like it was because of you, or maybe your parent was stressed out and they were arguing all the time and you felt like maybe it was because of you, or maybe you were abused physically or sexually and you felt like maybe it was because of you. And oftentimes people carry that with them and use that as a sense of self-identity, therefore not knowing their worth. Self-criticizing becomes an onset of that. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to be loved. I just don't need to speak, because if I speak, and we sabotage our minds and ourselves. However, there is a healer, there is a moment, there is a solution, and that is compassion. But again, now I'm talking about the most important version of compassion, which is self-compassion. Take time and suffer with yourself. And I'm not talking about suffering to death or suffering to a place where you feel like you can't escape. I'm simply talking about patience. Just as the wind blows and it comes from the east to the west, so will your emotion, especially shame. So be patient with yourself. Suffer with yourself. Express to yourself you're worth it in those moments, because when you get out of the moment, you'll realize you were there for yourself. You have to heal yourself. Let your words, let your mind be medicine to your heart. Give your time space to heal. I hope this message touches somebody in a special place. I hope it helps you stay uplifted. If this message is not directly for you and you're not in a place of feeling in shame, then share this message with somebody. You never know what people may be going through. We may have smiles on the outside. You may have a smile on the outside. But what's going on that inside? Compassion is a healer to shame. Be blessed, everybody. Day 10 is gone. It's done. Tomorrow's day 11. Tonight, create clarity. Think about what will make you whole, what will make you take a step in the direction that you need to take a step in, but do it with compassion, do it with care, do it with patience, do it with kindness, do it with motivation. You can do it. We can do it. We're in this together.